Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CLSR. And I'm your host, the counselor. Today, we're going to be talking about this thing called love. Many of you have been in a relationship for a long time, and you're at a point maybe where you're wondering if this love is fading. Is this person still love me the way I love them? How am I going to know? Am I waiting for a sign? Or am I waiting for someone to tell me how much this person cares? Or does something have to happen before I realize how much this person cares? Or is this person just hanging in there because they are accustomed to me? I mean, do they really love me? And I'd have to say, for the most part, there's no way to guarantee. You might even have a person telling you all the time, "Oh, I love you," day in, day out. It's almost become routine. And we know what that's like. Someone telling you love, and then when you don't say you love them back, you get that look. So then you know it's kind of routine. However, it's good for people to say they love each other. However, how are you going to know if they really love you? And I think that's what we're going to talk about. Some signs, right? Some signs in order to figure out what is going on with that partner of yours. You know, what's in their mind? What's going on in their head when they leave the house, go out for the day? You know, what is going on? And a lot of times they're not communicating that. And are they loving someone else? I don't know, but we're going to try and nail it down a little bit because I think you deserve it. I think every once in a while we all need to reflect on our relationships to see if we're really getting the love we deserve, or are we fooling ourselves? See, there is no guaranteed way to know if a person truly loves you, but there are some signs to read in order to figure out what is on the mind of that person. And if you'd like to know if the person you love truly loves you back, then listen carefully because the counselor is going to cover some of that. You know, you're going to have to listen carefully because you want to know what they're saying and what they're doing. Is it congruent? That means, is it the same? Are they actually showing me love, or are they just telling me that they love me? Right? Though they might give you this impression that they love you, but do they really love you? Right? And there are some ways that you can decipher if it's love or just a crush. You know, are they infatuated with you, or do they really love you? See, many people, they don't know the difference. But what you have to do is you have to notice how this person acts. See if the person can act naturally around you. Part of being in love means being completely open to the other person. If you find yourself seeing a whole different side that person doesn't show in public, but they're acting one way in private, but in public they're acting totally different, right? If they're showing you that they're the same, public and private, maybe they do love you. If your partner is pretty serious or polite in public, but shows a more goofy or silly side when you're alone, then they are really opening up to you and they do love you. Right? It's just their personal side. If the person shares their deepest emotions with you and is comfortable with it, then that could be love. As well, if this person is comfortable not looking perfect, tripping, or having food stuck in their teeth around you, this means that they are okay. And they're okay if you see every little side of them. You know, they're comfortable with it. It's almost like they see you as attached to them. See, you're going to have to gauge if the person is happy to be around you. And sometimes it's quite obvious when they're not. See, if this person is nagging all the time or getting at you, are they really happy? This should be true even during a bad day. If your loved one has a very bad day but lights up when they see you, then that's a sign of love. If they are in love with you, then the sight of you or the sound of your voice is guaranteed to make them feel better, even if it's only for a little bit. See, the next time they're grumpy or have a bad day, see how they react in your presence. That may be a really good indicator as to what's going on, right? And I want you to notice if the person gives you googly eyes. Though this may be silly, but you know when that person gives you that look, And you know what I'm talking about. People who are really in love, they give you that look. Like, they ain't even got to tell you that they missed you, but they give you that look. See, as silly as the googly eyes may be, check out your loved one's face the next time you see them. Like, if you're gone for a weekend or something, you come back. Do they look at you in a goofy, watery, silly, and adorable way that could only be described as goofy eye? You will know it when you see it. You won't get this look all the time. You can spot it in the morning or randomly across the dinner table, but you get that look. You may also be able to catch that person staring at you with the same expression. And there may be times when that person's acting a little giddy. See, love makes people feel giddy, weightless, and like laughing for no reason at all. If you see the person acting this way in your presence, then this may be love as well. Does your loved one seem hyper, excited, and on the verge of laughing for almost no reason at all whenever, they're around you? If so, this could also be love. If you said something barely funny and the person cracks up, then that could be a person who's love sick. If the person shows nervous energy or fidgets around a lot around you, then they may be just excited by your presence, which is a good sign. Ask yourself if this person is upset when you are. If you are suffering unbelievable emotional pain or just bummed because you have the flu, then this should rub off on the person who loves you. If they truly love you, then they'll absorb some of your negative emotions and will be very upset because they want you to feel better as soon as you can. Though they don't have to be as upset as you are, the person should clearly be affected by your mood because all they want is for you to be happy. And notice what the person says. Notice if the person talks positively about your future together. If the person really loves you, then the idea of you being in their future is an absolute given, not something that they would ever have anxiety or uncertainty about. If the person routinely talks about what you're going to do in the future, about what your lives will look like one day, or even years from now in the future, then they are probably in love with you and they're committed to you. See, true commitment means seeing a forever with another person. If the person talks about the future and always includes you in it, then there is a good chance that they truly love you. If the person talks about what your kids will look like, where will you retire together, or where will you go for the honeymoon, then they may really love you as well. See if the person gives you meaningful compliments, not that same, oh, you look pretty. There's a difference between saying something like, I like your new haircut, and you have the ability to make me feel better no matter what. If the person gives you compliments that show that they really appreciate the important aspects of your character or personality, then there's a good chance they really love you. Not those typical comments. Your loved one doesn't have to shower you with compliments all the time. It's the quality, not the quantity, that makes the difference. And it makes sense. You're going to get bored if they keep giving you the same, oh, blah, blah, blah. You just keep saying the same old thing, not even being genuine. They get a feeling. They don't like that. Determine if the person means every I love you. Remember that there is a big difference between love ya and I love you. If your special someone really loves you and tells you this much while looking into your eyes, sounding earnest and not wanting anything from you, then it's likely that they really mean it. If the person undeniably loves you, then they will say it for no reason at all. Not because they need a favor or because it feels like the right thing to do. They just say it. And it doesn't have to be programmed or routine. They just choose a time and they say it. A lot of us get suspicious if they say it too much. See, if the person really opens up to you, like if your loved one really loves you, then they will really open up to you and tell you what they are thinking, feeling, fearing, and longing for. If the person really opens up about their childhood, greatest regrets, most painful moments, or most romantic dreams for the future, then it's likely that they'll like you because the person is so comfortable telling you about almost everything. If the person tells you, I've never told anyone this before, And there's a good chance that they really love you and trust you. See, trust is a big part of it. Trust is a very big part of love. Expect to be missed when you are apart. See, if you and your loved one are apart, but they still text you, call you, or email you to let you know how much they miss you, then it means that they can't imagine their life without you. If you go on a 3-week vacation and don't hear a word from them, then it may not be love. You got to know the difference, right? And some people going away all that time and not giving you respect. Now, it's also could be the reverse. Someone who's texting you night and day, you can't even breathe. You got to be careful with that too. Is that love? You know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful. They don't have to call you constantly to let you know if they miss you or text you every 5 seconds. And we know we have those relationships, and a lot of you might be out there saying, well, wait a minute, I got somebody that does text me all the time, and they do love me. I don't believe that, counselor. Yeah, they do, but you got to look a little bit beneath that. Why is it every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes or everywhere you go? I mean, you walk out the door, where you going? All the time? Some of us, we just never get used to it. And you got to ask yourself, do they love me, or am I comforting them in their lives? What's the difference? Some of you might not even know because you've been conditioned, right? And hope to have your mistakes corrected. If that person truly loves you, then they don't have an idealized picture of you in their mind. If it's truly love, then that person will be comfortable with telling you when you've made a mistake, said something illogical, or acted badly. Though the person shouldn't criticize you all the time, giving you a healthy amount of criticism just means that that person really knows you in and out and accepts your mistakes as well as your best qualities. And they're not afraid. So you shouldn't be in a relationship where a person's afraid to tell you anything. You got to be cautious in a relationship, but you shouldn't be afraid to tell your partner anything. Especially if they're acting a fool. A certain amount of idealization is normal and even healthy, since it makes your partner more willing to accept the whole you in a positive light. If your partner emphasizes your abilities over your inabilities, it could still be love. It's only when idealization becomes unrealistic that problems arise. Like when they pretend that you have positive qualities you don't genuinely possess. Then, they're idolizing you, and it's not too good. See, if the person truly values your opinion, you're going to have to know this. If the person truly loves you, then they'll care about what you think, whether it's about their new pair of shoes or political situation in your country. If they really love you, they'll ask for your advice and opinions, whether it's on big or small matters. They may feel self-conscious about asking for your opinion, but they'll do it because they love you. They don't have to ask for your opinion on anything or everything. Only the things that really matter. And I really want you to notice what that person does. A lot of us don't do that. We just go in our everyday grind. But do you notice what that person does? Are you paying attention? Hope to be listened to. If the person really loves you, then they'll not only open up to you, but they'll also listen to anything you have to say, even if they've heard it all before. Though they won't be your lapdog, they will be around to hear your thoughts. They will nod and respond thoughtfully and not interrupt you, instead of switching the subject to something that they want to talk about. See, part of being in love is just being able to listen. It's not all about being able to talk. Now be careful if you have a partner that's sitting in front of the TV and you got a lot on your mind and they're focused on that TV and you're trying to talk to them and you freak out because they're not listening to you. They're paying attention to the television. Well, be careful, because television is the third form of hypnosis. And somebody sitting in front of that television, it's not that they're trying to be rude. They've been conditioned. So if you're going to have some conversations, you got to take it upon yourself to kind of wait till they get away from that television, or you're going to have to say, hey, listen, let's have a conversation away from it. Make sure they're already not being distracted, like sitting on the computer, on the internet or whatever. Then you don't get your feelings hurt. Because you can't say, oh, well, you know what? You don't love me. You didn't pay attention to me. Well, like I said, these are powerful devices out there, and they're made to get your attention. Everything on them is designed to get our attention. So be careful, right, when you make these judgments. See, if the person is always there for you, that's a good sign. This includes those times when it's inconvenient. Sure, if you want to grab a drink or a tasty meal, the person is always around. But what about when you need a ride from the airport, or you need someone to walk your dog when you're sick? If the person truly loves you, then they'll be there for you during the fun times as well as the not so good times. If the person is only around when you're happy, lighthearted, or in a good mood, but flees the scene as soon as you are sad or cranky, then that's not love. Love is about being there for a person no matter what. Truly loving a person means accepting all the positive and negative qualities of that person and being around during the good times and the bad times. Consider the nice things that they do for you. If the person truly loves you, then they'll do thoughtful things like put gas in your car when you're busy, do your food shopping for you, or bring you chicken soup when you're homesick. These favors don't have to be constant or over the top, but if the person truly loves you, then they'll want to do things for you to make you smile and make your life easier. That's what love is. Being there, showing you care. True love isn't just about what you can take from the person, but what you can give as well. Now be careful with that give. You think love is just about giving? Big mistake. There's people out there that give so much, and they give and give and give and give and give, and they think they're loving. Be careful, because that person might take advantage of that. And then they might switch their genuine love from you to some material thing, because they're figuring, hey, this person is willing to do anything I want them to. And be careful with that. There's a big mistake. There's people out there that take things from people, right? And those people will give it. They're like, I don't care. I love this person. That person don't love you, but you love them, so you're giving. These relationships, a number of them are built on what that person could do for the other person. But there's a lot of people that don't mind. Now, that's quite innocent. I'm just saying, if you're really looking for genuine love, be careful, because when you don't have those material things, what's that person going to do? How are they going to treat you when you can't do for them? Or if you get sick, you can't provide for them like you used to. Be careful building them up too much. And there are people that do say, I don't care if they build me up. That's how they show me love. Yes, but nothing lasts forever, especially when it comes to material things. Everything new gets old. So remember that. We even get old. So who do you want to get old with? Right? If the person really loves you, then they will do nice things for you without having to ask. It should be implied that you need a favor or help sometimes. If you have to ask for something nice every time, then that may not be true love. You know, like if you have a partner that you gotta, every time you oh, listen, can I do this? Or can I borrow your car? Can I go out here? And can I? That's not love. You think it is, but no, that's not love. You shouldn't have to ask the person that loves you all the time to do little things. That means they're not doing it automatic. They're not reciprocating. And that's one of the big things too, is reciprocation. A lot of us are afraid of getting that reciprocation. You do for them, but, oh, that's okay. They don't do for me. That's okay. I'm all right. I'm all right with that. Well, no, you shouldn't be all right. You shouldn't be the only one holding it down, doing everything. That's not love. You don't know what love is. If you're doing everything and they're doing nothing, no. You got to try to balance it, because you're going to have your ups and your downs, your goods and your bad times. And if that person's only there for those good times, and when you need them, how many of you are begging for that attention? You are. You're begging for that attention, or you're begging for, oh, you know, that person needs to get the car taken care of. Every little thing you go, oh, you know, this ain't working. Stop bothering me. And the person freaks out. Well, no, they don't understand. It's supposed to be a balance. If you got to tell somebody to take care of their responsibilities, then too much, and they're not doing their part, that's not balance. That's not love. That's not caring. That's not even equality. You know, that's that person thinking of themselves only doing what they want to do. You got to know that we have responsibilities in relationship. You got to show your love. A lot of people want to tell you, but show them. Show the person that you love. And even if you're showing, and I'm going to tell you this, there's people out there that will show people that they love them and not tell them. or they'll tell them but not show them. I'm telling you, you got to do both. Not all the time, but you got to do both. You got to tell them that you love them, and you got to show them. Anybody could tell someone they love them. Anybody could try to show their love, but do you know what true love is? And that's why we're talking. See if the person always wants to be around you. Part of being in love is always wanting to be around the person you love, even if it's impractical. If the person truly loves you, then they'll want to be around you a lot. This doesn't mean the person will want to be attached at the hip, but it does mean that the person will try to take as many opportunities as possible to be with you. You know, like if you want to travel or if you want to go to dinner, they want to be around you. That's okay. See, that's why we're together, because I want to spend some time with you. We all got to have our free time, but I'm just saying that person's showing an interest and a commitment. They do want to be around you. They love you. Let them give you space. If the person truly loves you, then they'll not only want to be around you a lot, but they will also know when to give you space and let you do your own thing. I find there's too many people that get in love and then they get infatuated, and then they get like to that point where they become magnets, and then the person can't breathe. It's not good for anyone, any gender, to be overly compensating, trying to get attention all the time. You got to breathe every once in a while. I mean, we were individuals before we got together, but there's a number of people out there that don't get it. They just put their whole heart into someone, and then next thing you know, they can't give them their space, and the person's like, I can't breathe. So what do? They end up running out there, breaking it off just because the person didn't respect. Or the person was in a previous relationship, and they said, you know, I heard someone tell me that before, that they needed space. And then I gave them too much space, and next thing you know, there was somebody else. Well, the truth is that if you got to live that life with the person where you got to overcompensate, or you got to be on their heels every time because you've been hurt in the past, you got to look at yourself and decide. And there are people who say that, oh, don't give them too much space. Give them some comfortable breathing room. If it's guys, let the guys go with the guys. If it's girls, let the girls go with the girls. If it's a transgendered, LGBTQ, whatever, whoever, let them have their space. And they should be allowing you to have your space. Sometimes we need our personal space. Give them their space. If the person wants to be around you all the time, then that's not love, it's infatuation. As love matures, two people will realize they still need to do things separate to maintain their own identities. If the person wants to be around you every waking moment, then that may be more of a sign of the person's insecurities rather than their real love for you. Determine if the person truly understands you. True love is true understanding. Though it sounds lame, the person should really get you in order to love you. If the person actually understands your moods, knows what you want and what you don't want, and has an idea of what will make you happy before you may know it yourself, then that may be true love. It's okay if part of you remains mysterious to the person. You don't have to be understood 100% of the time, but you do have to have the sense that the other person truly understands where you're coming from most of the time. See if the person wants the best for you. This should be true even if it is the best for them. If a person truly loves you, then they will understand that there are some things that you have to do that may not be the best for them, or may mean that you will be spending some time apart. If they truly love you, then they'll understand that you have to spend a summer on a remote island to pursue your career in marine biology, or that you have to go home early to get enough sleep for a test instead of spending the night with them, sitting back, making them feel comfortable. They'll understand you have obligation. If the person only wants what's best for both of you all the time, then they're not really seeing you as a unique individual with your own needs and desires. Look for support. If they really love you, then they won't only be there for the fun times. They'll also be there to help you achieve your goals and move forward in your life. If they truly love you, then they'll be there in the bleachers during the soccer game. They'll be there to see you defend your thesis, and they'll be there to give you a ride to your job interview, and they'll be there whenever you want to talk about something that means a lot to you. If they really love you, then they'll support you to achieve your goals and pursue your interests, even if they have nothing to do with them. Also, I'd have to say that also people who really love you respect your family. See, there's people out there that go, "Oh, I love you, but I can't stand them." And that's quite common. But that doesn't mean you get to disrespect them. See, let's say you have a partner and the family member could be a father-in-law. They don't like you so much, and you don't really like them. But you know that your partner is talking about them and how mean they were. See, because you love them, you want to protect your partner, so you start going off, talking bad about the father-in-law, putting them down, saying how they're garbage. No, that's a big mistake. What you want to do is you want to keep your composure and keep your respect in check. Protect your partner, but make sure that you do it with a level of respect. You don't have to be negative. Don't encourage the negative. Let them vent. Let them talk about it. Look out for them. But don't get deep down and dirty yourself. Don't bring yourself to that level, because you know what it does is it skews your thinking. You're not thinking clearly. And so now this person has you on a negative. See, I got to say that we have to be careful with these negative thoughts that people give us. So that uncle or father-in-law, rather, could be a rather negative person. Okay. However, we have to be careful not to fall into the grips of negativity, where we adopt these negative behaviors. Oh, they hate me, I hate them too. Next thing you know, you're going around carrying a chip. But that's not normally you. But because you're reacting to them being nasty, then your partner joins in, and then you both get this negative feeling. And then every time you have a family get together, there's a little anxiety, or, you're discouraged from even going. No. Try not to indulge too much in the negative experiences that people try to give you with their talk and some of their behaviors. Limit some of the contact with them, but do not engage, especially if you're a partner. Do not engage too much. Do not enjoy the negative feeling that this person's getting off by giving it to you. No. You have a life with your partner. Make sure if you love them, you show them respect. And you don't go after their family members. If anything, you talk to your partner, support them, but you don't engage in that, because that's not who you want to be. You want to be genuine and thoughtful, and you want to show your partner love. And you getting down on some other people and showing your negative mean side, that's not love for your partner. You might think it is, but it's not. Let them have their experiences. You be a supportive person in the relationship. You acknowledge what's going on, but you don't join in on the negativity. That's what I have to say. When it comes to love, I think that love is different things for different people, but there is a foundation. And I think one of the things we have to understand when it comes to love is there's mutual respect, there's genuine caring, there's genuine understanding of that partner, and genuine support, right? And just appreciation and respect and understanding, and being able to give space and be able to be secure within yourself and that other person. You're going to be hurt from past relationships. You're going to go through those things. But love also takes a little bit of time. Now, there's people out there, they say, "Hey, listen, I seen that person and I fell in love with them immediately. It was almost like love at first sight." I get it. But what I do believe is love is something that has to be maintained. You just don't love somebody and say, "Oh, we just naturally love each other." It's ongoing work. It's not somebody, "Oh, she loves me." It's ongoing work. You have to say it, show it, and understand it, and appreciate it. But it's ongoing. And do people lose love for each other? Yes, they do. And we're going to talk about that. We talked about what we think love is, but we also are going to have to talk about loss of love. Can you fall out of love with people? Well, we're going to talk about that in the next podcast. But I want to say to my listeners, I want you to be like the wise old bird and spread the word, especially when it comes to love. And look at your relationship. Look at where you are in your relationship, and do you show love? Do you just get, are you the receiver of love, or do you give love? A lot of us love to receive and make ourselves feel good, but are we giving love? Are we showing it unselfishly? Because that could be something hard to do. When you love people, sometimes you got to be unselfish. You got to show them that you do love them. And sometimes you got to forgive where you never thought you could forgive because you love them. But like I said, I want you all to take care of yourselves and understand that if you have love, you're blessed. And you should be sharing that love. It should not be one-sided. You have to earn love continuously. You have to show that you care. And some of you out there talk about love. Oh, you don't show me no love. I haven't heard from you in how many years, and all of a sudden you're coming in here and you're trying to get in my... No. What I'm saying is, if you haven't heard from somebody in a long time, if they hurt you, and you've been in love with them, you got to take it one day at a time, because it hurts. And some of you will push back. But when you understand about love for real, you'll understand that love, a part of it is forgiveness. And a part of it is moving on. And it's also understanding yourself. So take care, people, until we talk again.